Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. It's that time again. It's beer 30. Let's hit it. Okay, so on this edition of Beer 30, we're going to talk about the new Netflix show, Stranger Things. It has a lot of D&D references in it, where they actually play D&D. It's got a lot of throwback references to a lot of 80s stuff and everything. So we're going to get into all that in a minute. That'll be the topic of today's discussion. But before that, let's talk about today's beer selection. Let me get a taste here real quick. So this is, it's called Moose Drool. Such a delicious sounding name, isn't it? Moose Drool Brown Ale. And it is by the Big Sky Brewing Company out of Missoula, Montana. I've had a couple of their beers. I've actually had a couple of their IPAs, and I may have used one for a Beer 30. I can't remember for sure. But their products are very good. I do like their beers. So this one is for a brown ale. That's very good. It is, feels like it's a little stronger alcohol content than most brown ales, and it may be a little hoppier than most. So let's see here if okay. So yeah, alcohol content, actually it's not. It's only 5.2% alcohol by volume. So that is, but I guess if you're comparing it to supermarket brown ales like Newcastle and that type of stuff, it would be a little stronger than that. But so it must be the hoppiness that I'm getting, the little bit of kick there. Usually, sometimes there's they'll have a description there on the label, but no such thing here. So if you like brown ales, I think you would like this. That's one of my particular favorites. So if you're somewhere where you can get this and you're a brown ale person, I think you're ready to go. So let's talk about Stranger Things, the TV show. If you have not already been watching this, there will be spoilers in here. And I don't know specifically what I'm going to talk about, but let's just say that just in case I do, consider yourself warned at this point. So, Stranger Things is the TV show set back in the 80s at some point. And they're playing, it's a bunch of kids, neighborhood kids. It's kind of like the Goonies, and it's got horror elements. Kind of like a Stephen King type movie combined. So you've got kind of like the Steven Spielberg, Stephen King thing together is the feeling that most people describe it as. Because it's kind of like the Goonies, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What else? There's a Jaws reference in there, I believe, in my opinion, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. And of course, there's a lot of D&D stuff in there because they're playing D&D, and they reference it throughout the series. The first season, 8 episodes. I was sick one day a couple weeks ago. Was not feeling well at all. Called in sick at work. Decided to sit on the couch, lay on the couch basically, and decided I'd heard about this. Decided to go ahead and watch it. And I binge watched the whole thing, all 8, all back to back. I just laid there all day because I wasn't feeling well, and I'm like, I'm not leaving the couch, and this is it, Stranger Things, and I watched the whole thing. Fantastic show in my opinion. It has gotten great reviews. It is very well liked by almost everybody that I've talked to. And it does a great job of meshing all that 80s stuff with an element of horror, element of suspense, all that stuff wrapped in together. So I highly recommend it. Now, I wanted to kind of get into a couple of little specifics about it, because I think that the creators of this show are big fans of 80s nostalgia. Because there is, in addition to the Dungeons and Dragons references, there is a striking similarity between the chief of police's vehicle in this show and Chief Brody's vehicle in Jaws. They're both two-toned, older, like Bronco type vehicles, or Chevy Tahoe type vehicles, with gold and white. The lettering is even pretty darn near identical, the way they have the lettering done on the sides. Here's a quick, kind of side-by-side picture for you. So as you can see there, I couldn't find a picture of the whole vehicle on the Stranger Things Chief Hopper's vehicle, but you can take from that, you can extrapolate a little bit there and picture what the vehicle looks like. They're very similar looking. So I thought that was kind of a hidden tribute there to Jaws, because and then there's another similarity in there where the mother of the victim in Stranger Things goes to the police station, and the chief starts to type up a report. And just like in Jaws, where Chief Brody is typing up the report and he starts putting in shark attack, and Chief Hopper is typing it in and he's putting in missing person, but it's the way it's shot cinematically is almost identical. So I think there's a couple of little references there to Jaws, and which they wouldn't be the first ones to do that. A lot of people have done tributes and so forth. But there's, in my opinion, there's a Close Encounters of the Third Kind reference where, oh, and by the way, the chief's name is Hopper in this, and then you had Hooper in Jaws. Just saying. But in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you had them obsessing some of the, quote, victims that had encounters with the alien technology. They had been obsessing about this vision of a mountain, a very specific looking mountain, and they were using modeling clay and they didn't even know why. The victims were making these effigies of this mountain that they had in their vision. And the main character, Richard Dreyfuss's character in that movie, he even makes one out of mashed potatoes, and everybody thinks he's going crazy because he starts making this mountain out of mashed potatoes, and everything, and he's obsessing over this. Well, in Stranger Things, Winona Ryder's character kind of does the same thing. She obsesses about lights and everything, and she kind of goes bonkers with it. She just kind of goes overboard and crazy with it, in the same type of manner that they did in Close Encounters. I think that was kind of a little, reference to that. So there's more than that. I mean, there's several, and if you're a fan of the 80s culture stuff, you'll catch more of those, throughout the show. I think the kid actors, the child talent, for lack of a better term, in this is phenomenal. The girl that played 11 in this, she's going to be a star. There's no question about it. She is a fantastic little actress. I think she's 10 or 11 years old now or whatever, but you can tell she's going to do things. All the boys that were in their group, I think all did a fantastic job. I thought it was great all the way around. So there was even, now any of you that follow me that also follow Boogie2988, who plays Francis, that's one of his characters, that's his most famous character. One of his trademark quote that he says in every one of his videos, basically, is he says, sons of bitches. That's his thing, you sons of bitches. And if you notice in Stranger Things, the kid Dustin, the one with the lisp, and Francis, the character Francis, has a lisp. The kid with the lisp, Dustin, he actually says that, just like Francis in the show. He says, you sons of bitches, with the lisp and the whole bit. Now, you can take that as what you will, but I would not be surprised to find out that the creators of Stranger Things are not a fan of Boogie 2988 and Francis. Just a guess on my part, but, tell me what you think. If you guys saw the show, if you caught any of those references, I'd love to hear. If there was references that I missed, hey, put them down below. Say, hey, what about this and this, and everything. Love the show. Good beer. Good brown ale. A little different. A little deeper, a little darker. A little hoppier than the usual. And I think it's a good thing. Cheers, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.